first of all, just to say a great win. Man, that's as dominant as a defensive performance. I've been in the stadium 22 years, man, and that's as dominant of a defensive performance against a really good team that I've seen in a long time. I mean, just some of the stuff that our defense does week in and week out. Coach Newberry and his schemes and what they do. The kids are playing really, really hard on defense. You know, really, really pleased with what they did. And I was happy with what we did on offense. Just got to take care of the ball. I mean, just, I say that, and you rush for 34 yards. But it's good, though, when you're not happy offensively and you rush for 400 yards. But, as we press forward, we got to take care of the football. And we had 3 straight possessions where we turned the ball over. But now, we move forward to Tulane. Again, really proud of our guys. They just came off a big win, USF did, versus BYU. And that's a huge win. I mean, BYU's beating SC and Tennessee. And so that's a talented team. And, man, I thought we shut them down on defense and played really, really well. But great team win.
Questions?
Hi, Coach. Bill Wagner from the Baltimore Sun Media Group and the Capital Gazette. On the defense, it's the first time since 2013 that Navy did not give up a touchdown. That was the Middle Tennessee game in the Armed Forces Bowl. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you're going to win a lot of games when you don't give up a single touchdown.
And they've been put in bad spots. Just with the turnovers, the defense has been put in, bad field position. They haven't flinched. And again, that's a great credit to the defensive coaching staff, obviously Coach Newberry and all of his coaches, Coach Volker, Coach Downey, Coach Hall, Coach Norwood, Coach Johns. All those guys on that side are doing a really good job. Our defensive players, obviously, they played really well. But we're playing really well. I was telling you earlier in the week that it doesn't surprise me, though, because we had a hard time moving the ball against our defense in the spring. And our staff's been together a long time. We've seen everything. I mean, there's nothing you can throw at our staff offensively that we haven't seen and, over the 30 years or whatever. But we played those guys in some practices. We're on the sideline. What the heck was that? Just super creative. Our kids have bought in. But it's not just health, it's not just chaotic stuff that it's a sound defense. There's some chaos to it, but it's sound. And there's some organization to it. There's a method to his madness. And they played great, man. Played great. Lights out on defense.
Todd Karpovich, Associated Press. You talked about the 3 turnovers. They only managed 3 points off those turnovers. Let's talk about the unity of the team, how the defense sort of picked the offense up when they make these types of mistakes. It's worked vice versa in the past.
Probably the biggest thing that people ask, like we obviously made some changes, which was huge with our new defensive staff and the guys that we've got on offense, Coach Stutz and Coach McDonald. But a big thing that we try to work on this offseason was team chemistry, unity. We want to be the toughest team in the country and we want to be the closest team in the country. That was our goal going into the season, because I felt like if we did that, if we, played as a team, we could do great things. And like I said, our defense played well, and there are times where offense has to help the defense, or times the special teams have got to help. I thought Ben Fee came in, and kicked well on kickoffs. Did a really good job. But like you said, the defense. I mean, they played great on those 3 turnovers, especially that one where, after the interception and penalty, that horrible field position, and held them to 3. That was huge.
Ava Wallace, Washington Post. Coach, aside from scheme and all of that, what have you noticed about what's different among your defensive players or the energy of the defensive room? Because these guys look different when they're tackling, and it's not like you've got a bunch of newbies in there. It's the same guys who've been here. Those defensive coaches are really good. They're really good coaches. And like I said, I'm kind of rehashing the hiring of them, and I've said this before. And I knew just schematically that what Coach Newberry did, as I did my homework, that's the guy that I wanted. But then he wanted to bring 2 more guys, and that means I would have to get rid of 2 of my guys, and I didn't want to do that. And we went back and forth in negotiations during the Christmas break, and they were long and hard. And
And Newberry would not, he wouldn't budge. He said, if I'm coming, I want these two guys. And I knew I wanted him. And so it's hard for me to let two other guys go on their staff. But now that they're here, Coach Downing, Coach Volker, I know why he fought for them so hard. Those guys are really good coaches. And those three guys have been around together a long time. Coach Norwood is as good a secondary coach as there in the country as far as technique and schematics. And I think just the blend, Coach Hall knows them. They work together. Coach Johns is a really smart coach. He's been here. I could tell in the spring that our kids believed in what we were doing defensively. Because it's always hard. We get new coaches come. You know, I think the players are like, man, who are these guys? You know, well, what do they know? But I don't think it took them very long to be in meetings, to be with them, to recognize that they're really good people. And then when we practice against each other and they're getting after the offense, I think those guys were like, whoa, this is some special stuff. And I think our kids believe in it. I know our kids believe in what we're doing schematically. And the thing I love about what we're doing on defense is he's constantly creating. I mean, every week's different. Every week he's got something new. And I mean, he's as good a defense. And I said this a long time ago and been doing this for 30 years. He's as good of a defensive coach as I've ever been around. His creativity and his thought process is, I mean, he's special. He's special. And the kids have bought into it, and our kids are playing their butts off. Really proud of the way our guys are playing. They're playing really, really hard.
Mike James with the mid-report. The offense struggled in certain stretches, but they were able to connect on some big plays. I think every touchdown was a play of 20 or more yards. How important was it to be able to convert those opportunities when they presented themselves? Yeah,
it was just turnovers. You know, you say struggle, we rush for 400 yards. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the standard for us is, you know, might be a little bit, you know, it was the turnovers. Of anything, I was disappointed. Just our turnovers, and we had some penalties. We had some missed assignments. Those are the things that I talk to our team about. Don't beat ourselves. Make them beat us. Missed assignments, turnovers. And so I'm happy that we're 5-1. And I know that we can get better. But it's just the turnovers, the missed assignments. Because it's going to be hard enough to block people and execute. But we got to do a better job. And it starts with me, Coach Jasper. You know, we got to do a better job of making sure we have, you know, not all those penalties or misassignments.
I thought a key was the run defense. It was clear that South Florida wanted to run the ball. That's what they've done to win their last two games. And I think you stuffed them early and really kind of made them, I mean, they couldn't throw the ball, and so they had to keep trying to run, and it was like they were, you know, banging their head against the wall.
I mean, that was our, I mean, we all knew that. I mean, we have our defensive coordinator. I mean, he had a great plan, but we had to stop the run. I mean, the linebackers, inside linebacker coaches talked about it, our D-line coaches talked about it, our outside linebacker coaches, our striker coaches. We knew we had to stop the run. Last week against BYU, they just kept pounding and pounding and pounding them. And then they took some shots later in the game. You know, 89 was a good player. We just knew we had to stop the run, be ready for their shots, you know, try to minimize 89. And like I said, it was a great game plan, and the kids executed it flawlessly. I thought they played phenomenal.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
So offense, you guys-
Obviously, Coach Penn pointed out a big number of rushing yards, but you left some stuff out on the table with the turnovers and some of the penalties. Can you just talk about the offense as a whole?
Well, first of all, I think you know, the O-line, all the skill positions played a phenomenal game, and it just came down to making minimal mistakes and turnovers, like Coach said. You know, we got to get rid of that in order to get better as a team. In order to win games in the future, you can't have that. So.
I will ask you about the long touchdown run. 44 had you dead to rights. How in the world did you make him miss?
I don't know.
For any of you guys, Coach talked about how going up against this defense was so tough in spring. How much did going up against that unit prepare you guys this season? And was it notably harder than it has been in years past?
I think it was. I think in terms of just getting down and looking across the ball and seeing people running left and right and trying to realize what they're doing. It was a lot tougher than it has been years past. So I think the defense did a great job tonight. Of course, they kept us in the game. They kept the momentum on our side. But in summer and stuff like that, it helped me out tremendously to develop as a quarterback. I think so.
USF lined up a couple different ways throughout the course of the game, kind of changed looks back and forth. For all you guys, as you see that kind of thing over the course of the game, how do you keep focused to make sure you have the right assignments and don't make the costly mistake?
Yeah, that's a good question, and fortunately, I don't think they came out anything we weren't prepared for, and that's big testament to the coaches and their game plan they put together for us. So we weren't surprised by too much at all. We've seen their film playing other option teams, and fortunately they put us in a position to be successful. And again, happy to be sitting here with a win.
Jamal, how'd it feel to break loose for that big touchdown run? It must have felt like you're back at Bowling Green High School or something.
Yes, sir. It felt good. I was just reading my blocks and hitting the hole as hard as I could. Felt good.
And you feel like you got the speed to take it to the house when you get out in the open like that?
Yes, sir. I'm confident in my speed. Just make people miss and score a touchdown for our team.
Jackson, why don't you start off? Because obviously I've just mentioned to Coach that stopping the run was going to be key today. That team was determined to run the ball, particularly between the tackles, and I think they put big Flowers in there next to you, give you more beef beside you. Can you talk about what you all did to stop the run today?
Yeah, we just executed, honestly. The coaches put us in a great position, and everybody was filling their gaps, filling their holes, and doing what we were supposed to do, and they had nowhere to go. So, stopping them early and, hit them in the mouth because, we talked about it on film. They're going to try to pound us, put 12 personnel, something, and just run it down our throats. And, I thought we prepared well and we played well, and we stopped what they like to do and put them in a passing situation, which they're not, they don't like to do. And after that, it was, history.
Jacob, you entered the game with 2 career sacks today. You had 3. What was turning on for you in those moments in terms of taking on a quarterback?
Every game we come in, we know somebody's going to make a play, and when the play comes to you, you just make it. Everyone's going to eat on our defense, especially with the schemes that Coach Newberry has been coaching us and putting us into. So when the plays came to me, I just made them.
Now, Coach talked about, the creativity that Coach Newberry and his staff brought to this team. What was creative, what was new that you guys brought against South Florida?
Well, actually, we were able, because of their game plan was to run it, and it was a more simpler, just power counter type of game. We were able to go back to the stuff that we learned, and they were kind of our foundation. So going back on that, it was just, that's kind of our bread and butter. So it was a lot less misassignments and stuff like that this week.
You guys, for any of you, obviously look pretty night and day from the defensive unit last year. Can you just kind of explain how different the defense feels when you guys are all together in terms of energy, not just scheme-wise, but what's it like being in the room compared to last year? How different is it?
Yeah, I just think, obviously, first and foremost, the new staff has really brought in a ton of new energy, and thankfully we've all bought in. The seniors have done a great job leading us. I think another thing is, obviously trusting each other, knowing that we're going to do our job. And I feel like last year there was a lot of, pointing fingers whenever something went wrong, if I'm a linebacker, it's the D-line's fault, or if the corners are it's the linebacker's fault for not stopping it, or whatever it may be, whereas I feel like we're more of, a tighter unit. And it's just awesome to play together because we have that confidence that, okay, they might get the ball in the 30, but they're not going to score on us, And so it's just definitely a different feel whenever we're on the field or together.
Diego, can you talk about picking up the offense after the 3 turnovers? You guys really responded. You gave it 1 field goal and the 3 turnovers, but can you talk about responding and sort of picking the offense up when they sort of had some setbacks?
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with our practice, the way our practice is set up. We'll do a lot of breaks, and we'll put the special teams in between different time periods throughout the practice, and we're basically repping what happened tonight multiple times throughout. And I think it was just the preparation of our coaches again that they did a great job and led us to play the best that we could. So.